everything on the Bitcoin blockchain is public, everything on the Ethereum blockchain is public. But from the moment you bridge to Zano and you're in Zano, it becomes untraceable. Right? Yeah, it's very exciting if you ask me. You can use it to basically make your Bitcoin untraceable, to make your Ethereum untraceable, because you can move it into Zano and then you can send it to someone else, again, bridge it back to the Bitcoin blockchain at any time you want, in like break it down into multiple pieces, and you could just create a fresh Bitcoin or Ethereum address for it, so that you have no history whatsoever, except for the fact that the bridge sent you back some Bitcoin to this, this freshly created address that you made. So I think there's plenty of use cases for this.
Traveling to a restrictive country with internet censorship? A VPN is the answer. And surf the internet with no restrictions.
Keystone wallet is the wallet that you want to be using to keep your crypto safe. Whether you are a Bitcoin maxi or an altcoin lover, it is perfect for you. Easy to use, 3 secure elements, and integrates easily with MetaMask, Kepler, and dozens of other extension wallets. Get one now to keep your crypto safe and secure. Go to bit.ly/CryptoRichKeystone. Hey Quinton, thank you so much for making yourself available.
Hey Rich, yes, anytime, man. How's it going?
Yes. It's going very, very well. I'm so glad to have you back because I always enjoy these conversations. And you are one of the team at Zano, zano.org. I'll have all the links in the description below. And if you haven't checked out Zano, oh, you got to check out Zano. You got to check out Zano. And why, Quinton, should people check out Zano?
Because it protects your privacy. Very simple. They have all these beautiful features that you can use for all kinds of use cases. Confidential assets, namely, you can tokenize anything on Zano. You can build privacy stablecoins. You can make private wrapped assets of any existing assets. So you can make your Bitcoin private. You can make your Ethereum private. You can stake Zano in complete privacy, and so much more.
Yes, that is it. And why is privacy important?
For safety, right? Very simple. You're vulnerable to all kinds of attacks if you use a public blockchain. People can see your balance, they can see your transaction history. Governments could prosecute you for your actions, or even worse, people could do wrench attacks. They could kidnap you for the value, the assets that you have. So it's simply much safer for the end user to use a privacy blockchain, I think.
Yeah, and you say people can attack you. The biggest threat that we face in Western democracies, in particular the United Kingdom and the European Union, is attacks by the government. Because you got CBDCs coming in the European Union soon, and in the UK they've announced digital IDs in order to keep us safe.
Very safe.
Yeah, the government wants to know everything about us in order to keep us safe. Yeah, right.
Right.
Now, some people watching this may actually like the government in the European Union, and God forbid the government in the UK. But what if they're replaced by even more draconian, authoritarian, even more tyrannical governments that then use those structures for targeting their political opponents? So that's why one of the reasons privacy is important. No privacy, no freedom. And Zano is magic. It does magic. The other thing that's great about Zano is the magic that it does in terms of its price. Because you and I were talking before we started recording how since it launched, or certainly over the last bear market, it's still gone up. Most altcoins have lost value against Bitcoin, against the dollar over the last few years. Zano's just been going up. That's quite remarkable.
Yeah, I believe it's still the fastest growing privacy layer 1 that exists today. Over the last couple of years, it still amazes me. Like, I'm of course always on top of it because it's my job and I'm a bit busy with it from morning till evening every day.
Yep.
But if you asked me 2 years ago, what can you do with Zano, it was all just a theory, right? We're working on this. This is coming. This is going to happen. You will be able to do this and that. And nowadays, there is just so much utility and use case for Zano, and you can do so much with it already. Like I said, the privacy stablecoin, the bridging, you can actually spend your Zano a lot of places right now. It made so much progress, and I think that is also a reason for the growth of the project overall.
Yeah, now, the privacy stablecoin, right? We'll do a video about that at some point. Just so you know, the UK government, the Bank of England, is considering putting limits on the amounts of USDT that an individual in the UK can hold. About 10 to 20,000 USDT. So the Bank of England is saying you cannot have more money than this. And for a company, they're saying no more than 10 million USDT. This is what they're considering right now. So the bank is giving itself the right to let you know how much money you can hold. Isn't that good of them? It's for our own good.
I always think that the European Union is bad, and then you tell me these stories about the UK, and it's actually even worse. I also saw somewhere that UK has most millionaires, move away from the country, from all countries over the world, and it's because of these stupid things that I don't know what they're doing there, but it's not good.
Well, they're out to destroy the middle class and the poor. That's what they're out to do. They're out to, well, they want us owning nothing so that we can be happy and eating
Right,
bugs.
right.
That's why. Okay, so now they want to talk about something in particular that Zano offers, which is the what's the confidential layer, the bridge. Is that right? Or the bridge to the
Yes.
confidential layer. Do you want to say what that is, and then we'll actually go through a transaction, how it's done?
Sure. So the confidential layer bridge is a project that utilizes multiple blockchains. They basically form a bridge between, multi blockchains in a non-custodial way. And one of the blockchains that is plugged into this is the Zano blockchain. So this enables people to, for example, bridge their Bitcoin or Ethereum or BNB or even DAI, and bridge that to the Zano blockchain in a decentralized, non-custodial way via this federated system that they have. And then from the moment that you bridged it to the Zano blockchain, of course, your asset becomes a private asset because the underlying technology on Zano for this is the confidential assets technology that we developed. And all the confidential assets, they inherit the same privacy features as native Zano. So you don't see any amounts transacted, you don't see any addresses involved, you don't even see the asset type transacted. So all you see is that a transaction happened on the Zano blockchain. Of course, people can see, for example, that everything on the Bitcoin blockchain is public, everything on the Ethereum blockchain is public, so they can see that you moved funds into the reserve wallets, basically of the bridge. But from the moment you bridge to Zano and you're in Zano, it becomes untraceable, right? So it's a very neat feature that was only recently launched, and yeah, it's very exciting if you ask me. You can use it to basically make your Bitcoin untraceable, to make your Ethereum untraceable, because you can, move it into Zano and then you can send it to someone else. You can unwrap it again, bridge it back to the Bitcoin blockchain at any time you want, break it down into multiple pieces, and you could just create a fresh Bitcoin or Ethereum address for it, so that you, have no history whatsoever, except for the fact that the bridge sent you back some Bitcoin to this freshly created address that you made. So I think there's plenty of use cases for this. Yeah, that's basically what the confidential layer bridge is in a nutshell.
Right. Okay. So let me make sure I understand this right. So one of the things I want to say is that Zano is a development using the same technology as Monero. Monero is the biggest privacy crypto going. Everybody in crypto knows about Monero's privacy, where you can't see any transactions, you can't look inside the wallets, and Zano's developed it in such a way that it allows people, I think, two things. One is you can hide Bitcoin, ETH, and USDT on the Zano blockchain.
Not USDT, because the bad thing about USDT is that it is so centralized that they can actually freeze your assets at any time. So as soon as they will see that you moved your USDT to Zano, they will just simply freeze the native USDT on the Ethereum blockchain, for example.
Right.
So that's why they chose DAI, because that actually is a decentralized stablecoin that cannot be frozen. So there are still limitations to it, of course. The centralized crap is left out from this.
Okay,
And
thank
that's
you
a
for
good
that
thing.
correction. So DAI, which is a stable coin, Bitcoin, ETH, onto the Zano blockchain, and there it's invisible. And that could be in your Zano wallet, and you can have native Zano wallets, which you can download from Zano.org, but also in Edge Wallet. And Edge Wallet is a multi-currency wallet that is very pro-privacy, and they don't keep any user information or anything. But the other thing is the bridge, which is slightly different, right? Which you're talking about, is that I send my Ethereum from address 1 to the bridge reserve wallet, and then it goes to, where does it go to? It goes to address 2, or it can go back.
So what happens if we take Ethereum as an example? You send your Ethereum to an address that belongs to the bridge. once it recognizes that it received indeed, let's say half ETH, then it detects that it indeed received it, and then it mints the equivalent amount as a confidential asset on the Zano blockchain. So on the Zano blockchain, they name it ETHX or BTCX or DAIX, and then you receive the half ETHX to your Zano alias or Zano address. So that's basically how it works, and the native asset, the native Ethereum, stays locked, for as long as until someone bridges it back to the native Ethereum blockchain. So, half ETH is locked on Ethereum. Half an ETH is minted on the Zano blockchain. You can send it to someone else. You can move it around. You can bridge it back in part. Do whatever you want with it. Swap it for something else. But it only gets unlocked again. So it's always backed 1-to-1, right, by the native asset, and it only gets unlocked when you bridge it back to the native blockchain where it originated.
Which can be to another Ethereum address.
Yeah, it can. When you bridge it back, you can just use a freshly generated Ethereum address that has no transaction history whatsoever, and make sure that the Ethereum gets sent there again.
Right. Okay. So it has no transaction history. So it's a way of breaking the chain and keeping your assets completely private. Now, is the bridge decentralized?
Yes. Decentralized is a broad term, right? Some might argue that it is not so decentralized. Others might argue that it is decentralized. It just depends on your own interpretation of that term. But I think it is, because it's a federated system with threshold signatures. So no central authority ever has access to those reserve wallets, right? So only it's basically divided amongst all the node operators. This is where the bridgeless layer 1 comes in. It's which is basically like you could say the daddy chain of confidential layer, and all the nodes there, they basically operate the confidential layer bridge. So it's a federated system. There's not a central authority that ever has access to these reserve wallets where the Bitcoin or Ethereum is locked. And in this way, I think it is fair to say that it is decentralized.
Right. Okay, that's good. And then one of the concerns, and this is you and I were talking about this before we started recording, is that the blockchain may have the code may have a bug or something like that. And that's the risk in crypto, and it's the risk with just about anything. It's the risk with Binance or Coinbase or even the Bitcoin blockchain, which may not be quantum resistant. So don't ever invest or any more than you can afford to lose, and try out a little bit and see how it works. I mean, it's the same deal with a hardware wallet. Any hardware wallet they discover there's a bug in it at some point. It happened with Ethereum
Yes.
in the early days and Bitcoin.
But it's also good to point out that confidential assets technology and the bridge has been audited by a third party very extensively by CipherStack. So it's not that it is very unsafe to use. Otherwise, it wouldn't be released by a confidential layer and supported by the Zano team, of course.
Sure, and it's open source code.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Absolutely.
another security feature. That's fabulous. All right, now people need to have a little bit of Zano to take it off the Zano blockchain into another wallet, but to bring it onto the Zano blockchain, you just need to have a Zano address.
Yes, and also some Ethereum, for example. If you bridge from Ethereum to Zano, you of course need to pay some gas in ETH to cover your transaction on the Ethereum blockchain. Same goes for when you bridge Bitcoin to Zano. You need to pay a little bit of Bitcoin in fees for the transaction. So there are multiple fees involved depending on the blockchains that you're bridging from and to, right?
Great. Okay. Well, do you want to show us how it's done and share your screen?
Let's see. Share screen.
All right, so this is the bridge, the Zano bridge, app.confidentiallayer.com. I shall link to this in the description below. So take us through step by step. By the way, it looks like the Uniswap layout. And take us through step by step how it works.
Yeah, so it's very easy, user-friendly. You just simply select the token that you want to bridge to Zano. Ethereum is available, BNB, DAI. USDT is only available if you are not bridging to Zano. Because it's a centralized asset, and you also have Bitcoin. So let's take Ethereum as an example. You want to bridge it from Ethereum blockchain to Zano. Boom. You want to bridge, for example, 0.1. Then here you put your Zano address, and then you click on bridge. And basically, you then connect, for example, your MetaMask, or I believe they also work with Trust Wallet and a bunch of others, depending on what you use. The most popular wallets are integrated. Then basically what it does is it gives you an Ethereum address where you have to send the Ethereum. Then the bridge is idling, and then like a green check mark um, pops up on your screen whenever it received the Ethereum from you, and then it sends you the 0.1 ETH on Zano's blockchain to your Zano address. And from there on forward, you have a private synthetic asset that represents your real Ethereum on the native Ethereum blockchain, and you can move it around privately and do anything with it that you want.
Right. And that would show up as ETHX in my Zano wallet,
Right.
0.1 ETHX, which then I could send to from my Zano address to your Zano address.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now, when I do the bridging, how long does it take for the Zano asset to be created for this to go through?
Not so long, I believe, just a couple of minutes. It depends on the source chain that you're sending assets from, right? So, for example, on Ethereum, it first needs to have, I'm not sure how much confirmations the bridge needs, but probably like 64 or 60, like any other exchange. So you need to wait for 60 confirmations on the Ethereum blockchain. Then basically after that, it sends you the ETHX to your Zano wallet, which arrives instantly. That's the beauty of it. And then you need to wait for 10 block confirmations on Zano before you can actually respend the ETHX that you just received. Zano's block time is 1 minute times 10 blocks is roughly 10 minutes. So I'd say maybe 15 minutes before, like 5 minutes until you receive it, and 15 minutes until you can actually respend it again.
Right. And that's with ETH. BNB, I assume, might be a little bit quicker, and Bitcoin
Yeah.
might be a little bit slower because of
Yes.
those blockchains. Okay. All right. And then, so ETH, DAI, Bitcoin, BNB can be bridged over. And which other ones are they adding?
Oh, they're adding a bunch. I believe Ton and Solana are next, which are very popular blockchains as well. But also Base, I believe, Coinbase blockchain, and a bunch more. Basically, anything that there is demand for, they will add to the bridge one by one.
Okay. And is there somewhere where people can trade their Zano assets if they want to go from, I now have got, somebody's got 0.1 ETHX and they want to use it to buy Zano?
Yeah, they can. You can go to trade.zano.org, which is the decentralized exchange of Zano, and you can see here you can swap FUSD for Zano or BTCX for Zano, ETHX for Zano, and you can simply then swap that, to Zano if you want, and then swap it for something else. So yeah, there's more that you can do with it. Not only send and receive, you can also swap it for something else. Yeah, I believe Edge Wallet even integrated this into their wallet, like even easier. You don't even have to go through this confidential layer bridge interface anymore. You can simply, let's say you have BTC in your Edge Wallet, and you can then simply select that you want to swap it to BTCX in Edge Wallet, and it does it all for you. So you don't even have to go through the bridge yourself anymore. So if you have Edge Wallet, it's even easier. You simply select, I want to swap my BTC for BTCX. Click on OK, and boom, there you go.
That is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Very good. Anything you want to let us know about this?
No, I think this covers it pretty much, right? It's a very interesting project. I'd say go check them out, confidentiallayer.com, and go follow their socials to stay up to date. And yeah, let's see if this catches on.
Great. Well, I think it will. As governments get more and more authoritarian, there will be a boom in privacy cryptos. Quinten, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Look forward to having you back on. And if there are any other Zano-related projects, send them my way. And also, I just want to give a mention to, there's a Telegram channel that you run called Pursuit of Privacy. Do you want to say what that's about?
Yeah, Pursuit of Privacy is this Telegram group where people can basically chat about any privacy-related topics, but mostly privacy coins. It has, I believe, 1,300 people in it right now from all kinds of privacy coins and privacy communities. So you can basically, if you have a question about a privacy coin, you can ask it there, and there's always someone that can answer it for you. You can share news about privacy coins there. You can share your content about privacy coins there. So basically, it's just a hub for learning about privacy coins, creating content about privacy coins, and all of that.
Great. And just to say, there are representatives from many privacy cryptocurrency projects there. I know Pirate are represented, Zano's represented, Conceal, Epic,
Vero, there's
Vero,
Monero people in there.
Sentinel
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's really, really good, and there isn't, at least I've not noticed any. I was going to say argy-bargy, but that may not communicate into American English or Dutch English, even, right, or European English. There's arguments. They're not arguments on my pirate chain. My cryptocurrency, privacy cryptocurrency, is more private than yours, so there isn't that going on. But people might say,
Also,
"Is it?
sometimes it
Oh, is
happens.
it? Okay,
Yeah, but not too much, right?
not too much.
There are group rules to keep it civil and to keep the discussions, to keep them based on quality and on facts. The group isn't for my privacy coin is better than yours. It's more for technical discussions, right? So hey. Why should I use this coin A? Why should I use coin B? And what are their particular benefits compared to each other? That can be discussed, and that is being discussed there. But it's not that like a mud throw party. Like I throw my poop at you, and you throw your poop at me. My coin is better, Bob. That's not the purpose of the group.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you, Quentin. Really great talking to you. Look forward to having you back on again at some point soon, because there's more and more projects on the Zano blockchain. Do check it out, zano.org, and check out Pursuit of Privacy Telegram channel. And between now and when I see you next, fill your pockets with freedom, but do so privately. Crypto Rich and Zano Quentin signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.